Hi everyone, welcome to our Great Leader presentation. My name is Ashley and the other members of my group are Kayla, Liv, Kathy, and Emily. And we chose to do our presentation on a woman named Amy Trask. And Amy happens to be the first female CEO in the NFL, and she worked with the Oakland Raiders, as you can see here, for about 16 years. And we decided to choose Amy because we felt that not only was she interesting, but we felt that she was an inspiration. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Kayla talk to you a little bit about Amy's background, and we hope you enjoy our presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Kayla, and I'm going to be talking just about Amy Trask's biography, but first I just wanted to introduce myself and introduce what kind of leader I am. So I would just say that I'm a leader that's very inclusive and tries to always look out for others and give people opportunities to excel and to grow. And so in the positions that I'm in leadership in, I serve at my church, and I'm also a recreation leader at the city that I work for. So there's a lot of opportunities to give my coworkers and people that I oversee different just opportunities and chances to grow and to learn more about the field that they're in. And so I always also like to include people of all backgrounds. It doesn't matter how it was that they got there. Some people take different routes to get to where they are, and so I just like to be very inclusive of that as well. And so I think with Amy, it's just really interesting to see where she came from and her educational background and everything, and just to see how hard she worked, and given the different involvements that she was in, she was able to gain a lot of those opportunities. So to start off with, she went to school to University of Berkeley, where she received her degree in political science. And while being at University of Berkeley, she was involved in a sorority there. And being in that sorority, she actually became fond of the Raiders. So it's just really interesting to see that maybe she wasn't initially going into the sorority for that reason, but because of that, she found a new interest. And so after attending Berkeley, she went to USC's law school and received her doctorate's degree there. And very conveniently, since USC is in Los Angeles, she was able to get an opportunity with the Raiders to intern. So just again, very interesting to see how her schooling led her to her interest in the Raiders, which then prompted an opportunity for her to have an internship there. And it was awesome because she was able to intertwine her educational background in political science in her internship. And afterwards, she eventually became the chief executive for the Raiders in 1997. And her career ended as chief executive in 2013. And so through that time, she was just able to gain a lot of different experience, especially being in a predominantly male-dominated field. She was able to gain a lot of experience just battling those different stigmas that are placed on women in that field. And so through that, she was able to write a book. The book is called You Negotiate Like a Girl, where she pretty much advocates her rights as a woman in the field such as that. And she's really been a voice for a lot of women trying to get into fields that are male-dominated. And she was even given Woman of the Year award based directly off of her involvement with sports. And so because of that, she's just come a very long way. So like I mentioned earlier, it's really interesting to see how different leaders get into the positions that they are based off of their experience. And so because of the fact that she was able to take her experience in a male-dominated field and use it for the better good to inspire women everywhere, it's really given her an opportunity to grow and allow others to grow as well. So just because her career with the Raiders ended doesn't necessarily mean that her legacy as a leader has ended. It's really given her a lot of different opportunities. So like mentioned, she was the first female CEO in the league, so it really inspired many other women to do the same and to really work towards those different opportunities. And it's really paved the way for other people as well to just be inspired by her. So Amy Trask is an awesome leader, and her biography and her background is just really awesome to see and to analyze how she got to the position she's in.
Hello, my name is Liv Nordin and I am an international student from Sweden. I'm currently on my third semester at Cal State Fullerton and I have one semester left next year and then I'm done with school. I have already a double bachelor from Sweden and I came here knowing that I needed to study for 2 semesters to be able to have an internship, and my dream was to get Google, and I'm here now working as an intern part-time and studying full-time. I am in the Amy Trask group for this project, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about her first part of her career. First of all, I would like to start to say that everything started with an internship that she cold called a person at the Raiders, and I made those cold calls too to get this internship here at Google. So I feel that she and I have a lot in common. Overall, when I've been studying her interviews that she's been doing, I feel that she is a very humble person and that she doesn't have a set plan for everything that she does. She rather take it a little bit spontaneously, trying something that she feels gonna work for the time, and this has made her career growing and being very successful. Yeah, everything started with her when she went to USC Gold School of Law, when she made a call to the Raiders. The person who answered and picked up the phone didn't even know what an internship was and asked her, "So what is an internship?" And she simply answered, "I work for you and you don't pay me." Just this little part makes me very interested in Amy and how motivated and ambitious she is, and she's not scared of taking control of situations, and she really wanted this and she got it. She has the courage to also as a woman to just call a huge company and ask them to become an intern, and I think that's great, and I did that too, and that's why I really like this woman. This was the phone call that started her 30-year-long career at the Raiders. From start, Amy was doing a great job and continued to rise within the company as an intern. And in 1997, she became the CEO as the first woman to ever hold a position. And also who didn't hold a ownership of the team since before. So she had this whole career within the Raiders. She started at the very, very bottom without even getting paid, and she took every task that she got and made it the best that she could. And just by this motivation and ambitious person that she is, she could rise to the very, very top. And I think that's very admirable for anybody. Looking at her now, you see a very successful woman that has done a lot in her life. But if you go down the history back and you see that she really came from the bottom, and I think that's very admirable and great. She didn't have any vision or plan at any time during her career. This is her own words in an interview that I've been taking this information from. She was thrilled to be a part of the organization, so she had this relationship to the organization, and that's why she wanted to get the position as an intern in the first place. Then she certainly advanced within it, and she was delighted to serve in any numbers of roles within the company. So she was very humble. She's been very humble throughout the whole process that I can see with the Raiders. And one thing that I picked out from her interviews was that she answered, "I did anything and everything I was asked to do. I also tried to do things that I anticipated would be of value to the organization, even if I wasn't asked to do them." So that happened with me too right now. I was working really hard, and I have been actually got a new position as a recruiter, even though I started off as a back-end developer within ads for Google. And I think that if you strive to get more, even if it maybe not going to pay off as in money, it's going to pay off as in more experience and potentially higher positions in the future.
Hi, my name is Kathy, and to me, leadership is all about inclusivity and equity. When I think of the leadership positions that I've taken on, I notice a definite pattern in the beliefs and values that I like to uphold. I like to stay flexible so that I'm open to what others have to say. I believe in having a strong work ethic so that I'm really believing in what I say and staying true to what I believe in. And lastly, I like to hold myself accountable to not only my responsibilities, but also my mistakes, no matter what. I also think that everyone has the potential to be a great leader, and no matter who they are or where they're from, hard workers will always be recognized. I think when I'm being mindful of these values while I'm in a leadership position, I not only get to work with a wide range of people with different views, experiences, and talents, but I think people tend to gravitate towards you when they see your passion and hard work in achieving your goals, and as a result, they will give you their respect as a leader figure. I think that my style of leadership really relates to Trask's in that we both like to emphasize the importance of inclusivity and always staying true to yourself. As a woman in a heavily male-dominated industry, Trask's hard work and dedication is really what got her the respect of her peers, the Raiders fans, and general football consumers all over the nation. She doesn't let her gender and her status get in the way of her work, and she's proved to everyone in the business that a woman can do just as well, if not better, in the sports industry, and she has the records to prove it. Trask was in charge of all non-football operations and oversaw everything from sponsorships to TV contracts to stadium rights, and represented the organization at league meetings. Under Trask's watch, the Raiders won 4 division championships and 1 AFC championship. But with that being said, she didn't stay with the Raiders forever. In 2013, a couple years after Al Davis's passing, she decided to step down from her position on the Raiders team and move on to other bigger projects. She started to work for CBS Sports and started appearing on a couple of their sports shows, such as working as a football analyst on That Other Pregame Show and a panelist on We Need to Talk, the first ever nationally televised all-female sports show. She still works on CBS Sports today and is mainly seen on the NFL Today show. In January 2017, Trask joined forces with producer, actor, and music legend Ice Cube and entertainment executive Jeff Kwatnitz to officially announce the launch of The Big Three, a new 3-on-3 half-court basketball league that features some of the best players in the game. She became CEO in April and begins to incorporate some football into the company, but ultimately decides to focus on the business aspects of the startup. Today, she still works for them and has the title as chairman of the board. Aside from football, she's also served on the board of directors for the Tony La Russa's Animal Rescue Foundation and the advisory board of the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission. As mentioned before, Trask received the 2017 Women of the Year Award by Women in Sports and Events, otherwise known as WISE, and she's also been awarded the 2018 Campanile Excellence in Achievement Award by the UC Berkeley Foundation and the Cal Alumni Association.
As to leadership skills and attributes of Amy, she certainly has a plethora that we could discuss, but we're just going to look at 3 of them. The first one is that she places a high value on making sure she has a strong moral compass. She wants to make sure that her personal morals and convictions are always upheld and that she does not compromise on any of her beliefs. In an interview with ESPN, she compares this to Al Davis's outlook. Davis refused to play any games in the South due to the segregation. He knew that the sacrifice could lead to many problems in his career, but he chose this difficult path anyway because he did not want to compromise on what he knew was right. This mindset is what Amy has striven to achieve in her long career with the NFL. Secondly, Amy believes in second chances, but only when appropriate. She wants to extend the ability for somebody to redeem themselves when the opportunity presents itself. She does recognize, however, that sometimes there's a situation that there's just no opportunity to come back from. She only wants to extend those second chances when it is for the good of the whole. Another vital part of Amy's leadership process is her inclusivity. She even claims that she believes any business that has exclusive hiring processes which degrade on account of gender, race, sexual orientation, or any other characteristic does not deserve to succeed. Only businesses with inclusive and welcoming hiring practices should be successful. Amy, over the years, has developed the nickname Princess of Darkness. This nickname was given to her by Mark Silver of Sports Illustrated when he wrote a column on her. Initially, the nickname was not meant to be a compliment in any way. In fact, it was supposed to be an insult. However, the Raiders fans accepted the nickname and started referring to as it, and now she claims that she loves the nickname. This really goes to show her legacy with the Raiders fan club. She isn't even a part of the Raiders franchise anymore, and yet they still refer to her as the Princess of Darkness, and she still refers to herself as that, which I think is a beautiful moment. The fact that she was able to take something negative and turn it into something positive is really encouraging and shows what her true leadership style is. Since we are a group of females, we decided that we wanted to feature a female that has taken strides in an industry that not many females have, and this is why we chose Amy. I actually had never heard of Amy Trask, but after she was suggested, I looked into her and saw just how incredible she is. Even though one of the main reasons we chose her is because of her gender, it's important to note what her mindset is on gender. Amy has made it very clear in several interviews that she doesn't want coworkers or viewers to consider her gender. She does not want to walk into a room and immediately be identified as the sole female. That kind of thinking is simply misogynistic and outdated, and therefore, she strives to not think about her gender either. In an interview with Paul Kilduff of The Monthly, Amy states, "I don't think it is intellectually honest to want one's gender to be irrelevant, yet to think of one's gender. I never walked into a room, I don't now walk into a television studio, thinking about the fact that I'm a woman. I don't want anyone else to be thinking about the fact that I'm a woman, so how does it make sense for me to think about that fact?" I highly respect Amy for making this comment because it shows that she really does not want any special recognition for being the first female chief officer of an NFL team. She simply wants to receive the respect and credit that anyone should, regardless of their gender, for the hard work that she has done. Personally, I think my style of leadership relates to Amy's because we both value our personal standards and morals. I too always strive to make sure that I don't compromise my standards, even if it means that it could potentially make my job a little bit easier. I do this by frequently reminding myself of what I believe so that I won't be tempted to turn my back on ethical and moral decision making as a leader.
Hi Amy, thanks for taking the time out today to answer a few questions. Can you talk a little bit about the title of your book, You Negotiate Like a Girl, and how that came about?
My thought for the title of the book was Without Regard. And when I sort of envisioned writing a book, I came up with an idea of the title, and it was going to be Without Regard, which was going to be my shorthand way of saying without regard to gender.
I know you mentioned previously the phrase without regard to gender. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
It strikes me that if one wants to be treated without regard to gender, one should comport oneself without regard to gender. And along those lines, it's always struck me and still strikes me as nutty to think about one's gender if one doesn't want others to think about one's gender.
As a woman in business, do you feel that being called tough is a bad thing?
I don't consider it good or bad. Look, the best advice I ever received in my life was from my mom. And she told me, as only moms can do, over and over and over and over again, and I won't take all your time to say over as many times as she actually told me, to thine own self be true. And the reason I share that with you is we have to be who we are to be our best. I really believe that. So I neither advise anyone to be tough, nor do I advise them to not be tough. We have to do what works for us to be our best, I believe.
I know in your book you talk about the 4 C's: communication, cooperation, collaboration, and coordination. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that relates to making decisions in business?
I value input. I think the 4 most important words in business are communicate, cooperate, collaborate, and coordinate. And so in making decisions, I rely on my teammates, and I value, I cherish, I welcome, I elicit communication and collaboration. But yes, when I reach a decision, I certainly will be what some would call tenacious in pursuing the outcome that we collectively have decided is the right outcome.
Can you give me some advice on being tested or insulted in regards to the workplace?
Focus on the substance. Do your job. The best response, if you will, to an insult or to a comment about one's ability is to succeed. What's the best answer when one is tested? Pass the damn test. So I always viewed my energy and my effort as best spent on doing my job and not worrying about anything else.